This is a reading from the prologue of the Toymaker. It goes like this. What good is a toy that will wind down? What if you could put a heart in one, a real heart, one that beats and beats and doesn't stop? What couldn't you do if you could make a toy like that? Mention Marker would sit at his bench and look at his tools with his pale green eyes and think on it. First, he had no success. He would set small wicker traps in the little dark yard behind the shop and watch until a sparrow or a starling came down. He had tiny cages for them. They were no use to him dead. The cages lined the wall of the workshop, and the birds sat and looked out into the room, 100 black, beady eyes. And he would work at his bench until he was ready, with a half-made toy before him. Then he would take a sparrow from a cage and with a quick knife take out its heart, still beating, and try and fit it into the toy, carefully joining the tiny cogs and wheels so the fluttering heart might make them move. But he couldn't make it work. There was something that could not be made to work. The toy would lie there as lifeless as a sparrow, and in a fury he would throw them both into the fire and watch them burn. Sometimes, even though he worked so fast, the heart would stop beating before he'd even placed it in the toy. But at other times, it would beat on, just for a moment, and the limbs of the toy would jerk and the eyelids flicker as though they were about to open. Then the heart would stop, and there was no starting it again. What he needed was a blade so fine, so sharp, so minute, that it could fit between a heart and its life and not sever the two. And that is what he set himself to make when the town clock struck 4 and the shutters were drawn. When it was done, he set it into an ivory handle. It was a blade as cruel as frost, so thin that though you might see the ivory handle, try as you might, couldn't see the blade. Nothing had ever been made before that was as sharp as that. When Mention Marker slid that blade into a sparrow's breast, it looked at him with momentarily puzzled eyes. It never knew that its heart had been taken. He set the tiny thing, still beating, into the open toy on his bench and joined the wheels and the cogs, the minute gears and the pins, and then he stood back and waited as the heart beat on. The toy moved its limbs as might a man waking, and opened its eyes. And if you want to know what happens next, you're going to have to read the book.